Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the 9 p.m. English News Edition. Eid Mubarak. Here are the headlines. The Republic of Djibouti celebrates the festivities of Eid al-Fitr. Worldwide celebration of Eid al-Fitr under COVID-19 restriction. Hello, welcome to our newsroom for having the news in details. Following the example of the rest of the Muslim world, the Republic of Djibouti celebrated Eid al-Fitr 2020 on Sunday, 24th May, a celebration of Eid that comes at a time when the coronavirus pandemic is raging in our country and around the world. Early this morning, the faithful converged on the prayer sites and mosques throughout the country. In the capital, several sites were set up to welcome the faithfuls for the morning prayer of Eid al-Fitr. The Wagon Ministry had made drastic arrangements to ensure that barrier distances were respected during the prayers. Thousands of faithful who had completed the youth of the blessed month of Ramadan made their way to the prayer sites. All of them wore their prayer mats and protective masks. The President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Mergele, took part in this collective prayer of Eid, which brought together officials, including the Ministry of Muslim Affairs and members of the government of the Anonymous at the field. Jama Aulad, located at the Plateau du Serpent in the town of Razdika. Thousands of people gathered in joy and piety to celebrate together in prayer and meditation at the end of the blessed month of Ramadan. The prayer took place in a good atmosphere. All the faithful wore a mask and the barrier distance were respected, as can be seen in these pictures. At the end of Eid al-Fitr prayer, the President of the Republic and the thousands of faithful present attended a preaching by Imam Sheikh Shamsuddin, focusing in particular on the benefits of this Eid al-Fitr prayer, which comes at a difficult time this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. In his sermons, the Sheikh insisted on the respect of preventive measures such as wearing masks and respecting barrier distances to reduce the transmission of COVID-19, which is in an active phase at the moment. At the end of the prayer, the faithful greeted each other without the usual handshakes and hugs during the feast of Eid al-Fitr. Positive behaviors that can prevent the transmission of COVID-19 virus, especially at the time of prayer.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. الله أكبر الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر كبيرا. والحمد لله انتشر فيها فيروس كورونا، فالحيرة ما زالت سيدة العالم، ولله في خلقه شؤون، فلا يسأل سبحانه وتعالى عما يفعل عباده وهم يسألون عن أعمالهم، لا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون. فهل تساءل العالم عن سبب حدوث هذه الجائحة الكبرى فيروس كورونا الذي لم يشهد العالم له مثيلا من قبله؟ اللهم ارفع عنا هذا الوباء يا رب العالمين. اللهم انا نسالك الامن والامان في بلدنا وسائر بلاد المسلمين يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والاكرام. اللهم انت علينا قادر، اللهم لا تعذبنا فانت علينا قادر، وارحمنا يا رب العالمين. انت اهل العفو وانت اهل المغفره وانت اهل الاحسان يا رب العالمين. اللهم وفق ولي هذا الامر ورئيسه الى كل خير يا رب العالمين. اللهم وفق رئيسنا ولي امر هذا البلد الى كل خير يا رب العالمين. اللهم وفقه يا رب العالمين لما فيه مصلحة البلاد والعباد يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم كن له معينا يا رب العالمين وناصرا يا حي لما فيه مصلحة البلاد والعباد يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اشف مرضانا وعاف مبتلانا. اللهم اشف مرضانا وعاف مبتلانا. اللهم انا نعوذ بك من الفتن ظاهرها وباطنها يا رب العالمين. اللهم انا نعوذ بك من البرص ومن الجنون والجذام وسيء الاقسام. اللهم انا نعوذ بك من شر الاشرار وشر الاخبار وشر الامراض وشر الفساد وشر كل ذي شر لا نذيق شره وشر كل دابة انت اعلم من اسياتها ان ربي على صراط مستقيم. اللهم نسالك رحمتك الواسعه التي وسعت كل شيء يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والاكرام. تعودوا الى بيوتكم والتزموا بهذه الآداب والتدابير الوقائية. فهذا العيد عيد استثنائي ولله الحمد والشكر وله الفضل والمجد.
In addition to the land Jama Awlad, several prayer sites have been set up in the capital. Some worshippers have performed a prayer of Eid in mosques authorized to receive the faithful since May 23, 2020, a measure that makes the deconfinement decree signed by the President May 10. Thousands of faithful have converged on the site of Guled Stadium after doing ablution at home, wearing the prayer mat and protective masks to prevent the transmission of COVID-19 still active in our country. Barrier distances were also respected during the prayer of Eid al-Fitr this morning, a prayer led by Sheikh Tayyib Ziyad on the site of the Guled Stadium with the participation of thousands of faithful of the commune who came in large numbers to do their duty after having accomplished Ramadan for a month. The joy of the collective prayer was palpable among the Jewish faithful who had not set foot in the mosque because of the containment measures implemented to reduce the risk of contamination by the COVID-19 virus. After listening to Sheikh Tayyib Ziyad's preaching on the importance of Eid al-Fitr in the celebration of Eid after the fulfillment of Ramadan duty, the faithful returned home without the usual handshakes and hugs.
عرفة وعاشوراء وأيام الليالي البيض من كل شهر. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. اللهم أصلح ولاة أمور المسلمين. اللهم أصلح ولاة أمور المسلمين. اللهم أصلح ولاة أمور المسلمين واجعلهم في من خافك واتقاك واتبع رضاك. اللهم حبب إليهم الإيمان وزينه في قلوبهم وكره إليهم الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلهم من الراشدين.
And now in the commune of Balbala, several sites and mosques welcomed the faithful for the morning prayer of Eid al-Fitr. During the prayer, barrier distances were respected, as in other sites and mosques. Thousands of worshippers took part in this collective prayer at Jama Awlad Field in Hodan PK12 and Sheikh Musa in other sites. The prayer was led by Sheikh Mahmoud Ahmed Obsi at the Jama Awlad Balbala Field with the participation of the population from the surrounding area. The worshippers all wore mosques as indicated in order to avoid contamination by the COVID-19 virus during the grouping for the collective prayer while also respecting the barrier distances. It is clear that Jews are beginning to change their behavior by adopting the right measures, which is imperative to preserve, especially when they gather together. At the end of the prayer, Sheikh Mahmoud spoke to preach the importance of Ramadan in the prayer of Eid al-Fitr. He also insisted on the need to respect the barrier distances and the wearing of masks, especially in prayer sites and mosques and at the time of a move. Thereafter, all the faithful converged towards their quarters, greeting each other without the usual handshakes and hugs in this period of Eid.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Magele, expressed his wish of health, happiness and prosperity to his compatriots as usual at the advent of Eid al-Fitr. I hope that Eid al-Fitr will be for our citizens a successful crowning of the intense piety and spiritual recollection they are used to devote themselves to during the blessed month of Ramadan, said the head of state. In this wish to the nation, President Gele first expressed the hope of a speedy recovery for his sick compatriots and rapid access to the economic circuit for those who are in precarious situation. He then took part this opportunity to express his sincere thanks and the perfect expression of his gratitude to all our compatriots engaged on first front in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. Under our skies, the Egyptian nation will not cease to keep in its collective memory the unfailing devotion shown by our health personnel to protect and treat our population against the harmful effects of the coronavirus, said the head of state. I wish to pay tribute to our armed forces and security and all other departments involved in the saving fight of our society against this dreadful disease. Even though the method and of anticipation adopted by our country to avoid the dramatic consequences of this pathology has yielded encouraging results, I am of the opinion that the danger is still present. That is why I urge our compatriots to respect and adhere to the instruction of our health professionals and to avoid behavior that could jeopardize their lives and those of their families and relatives. I am proud that as at other times in its history, our nation has approached the challenges, particularly economic, posed by the disease of COVID-19 under the sign of national cohesion. The containment adopted had no impact on the work of employees in both the public and private sector, and the national solidarity drive undertaken under the aegis of the state has enabled us to provide optimal for our compatriots in the informal sector, he said. I sincerely hope that the coronavirus will soon become a distant memory for our society. I therefore project an efficient resumption of our inexorable and collective march towards development, he said, reiterating a best wish for Eid al-Fitr to all Egyptians and all other expatriates who do us the honor of living in our country. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Malik Mergele, spoke on the phone this Saturday evening on the eve of Eid al-Fitr with the King of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and custodian of holy places, His Majesty Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. During this meeting, President Gele and King Salman wished each other health and happiness, and each wished a greater development and prosperity to the other's people. The Egyptian head of state and the custodian of the two places then took advantage of his exchanges to evoke together the relations of friendship and cooperation between the two countries and the two borderly peoples. In this regard, the two leaders agreed to work towards strengthening the already privileged and strategic ties that exist between the two sister nations. The President of the Republic and the Saudi King also devoted another part of their talks to the coronavirus pandemic and the technical cooperation and solidarity arrangements, to which the two two countries must subscribe in order to provide greater protection for the population of both nations. President Anglais' exchange with the custodian of the two holy places is part of the periodic and occasional contacts of the Egyptian head of state with the leaders of the brotherly and friendly countries. Still, the Egyptian head of state, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, also continues to receive Eid al-Fitr greetings from his counterparts, the head of state and governments of Arab and Muslim brotherly countries. In their telegrams, the Muslim leaders all wished the President of the Republic health and happiness, and the people of Djibouti more progress and development. They also refer to the fraternal and friendly feelings of their societies toward the Egyptian nation. Several of these Muslim leaders salute the increasingly prominent diplomatic role of the Republic of Djibouti, particularly within international organizations. Other leaders, for their part, are pleased with the ability of our country to demonstrate its ongoing solidarity in providing assistance to the people of the region, who are often fleeing repeated wars and conflict. May God save the nation of the world from the evils of the coronavirus. Read some of the messages sent to the Egyptian head of state. The Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jabir Al-Sabah, the Egyptian President, His Excellency Abdel Fattah Al-Sisi, the King of the Kingdom of Morocco, His Majesty Mohammed, are among the leaders of Muslim countries who sent messages of congratulation to President Guelleh on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr. President Guelleh's exchange of greeting with the King of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, custodian of the two holy places, and his crown prince took the form of a telephone conversation yesterday on the eve of Eid al-Fitr. It should be noted that the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, had also addressed similar messages to his counterpart, the head of state and government of Muslim countries, at the advent of Eid al-Fitr. In his telegram, President Ismail Omar Guelleh expressed to each of these leaders the hope of greater development and prosperity to their respective nations. May God preserve our world from the disease of COVID-19, he implored in his message. In the telegram, he also expressed the hope of greater understanding and complementarity between the two Muslim community and other cultural and religious components of the world. Moving now on the international news, unusual atmosphere of Eid al-Fitr is what our TV team observed this morning. Thus, the Djiboutians have recently returned to the public life, especially in the known unusual atmosphere. Muslims around the world mark a unique special celebration of Eid al-Fitr, many of whom are undergoing coronavirus confinement, but less stringent restrictions are providing the respite for worshippers in some countries despite fears of a surge in infections. This festival, one of the most important in the Muslim calendar, marking the end of the holy month of Ramadan, is traditionally celebrated with the mosque family celebration and pushes new clothes, gifts and sweets. This year, however, the celebration is overshadowed by the rapid spread of respiratory disease, as many countries tightened containment restriction after a partial relaxation during Ramadan led to a sharp rise in infection. Many countries from Saudi Arabia to Egypt, Turkey and Syria have banned mass prayer gatherings, a highlight of the holiday, to limit the spread of the disease. The great mosque of Mecca has been almost devoid of worshippers since March, with an astonishing emptiness enveloping the sacred Kaaba, a large cube-shaped structure to which Muslims around the world pray. In Lebanon, the highest Sunni religion authority announced the reopening of mosques only for Friday prayers. However, worshippers will be subject to temperature and health checks before entering. This is it for this edition of 9 p.m. Thank you for watching us, and Eid Mubarak again.